Good morning, Sandy. How are you? I hope you can hear me.
Well, I'm right here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Your smiling face. I,
Well, did
I'm
you just?
dealing with all this extra stuff over here, and I don't know why. But
I can't help you there. You're the boss. You're driving
I'm
the ship.
always, yeah, no, I'm not always lost at all.
I didn't say that. I said you're the boss.
No, I know. I said it, but here we are on YouTube, and everybody can watch us be stupid, and when things go wrong, then that's the way it goes. So I'm trying to see here. Well, forget it. I'm not even going to do an intro. Doesn't need to be.
Dun,
Uh,
dun, 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 dun,
Countdown
dun, dun,
10,
dun.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, here we go.
Well,
So,
I was gonna sing for you, but
oh,
you know,
go ahead, sing.
no, I was gonna give you a trumpet blast like I just did.
That's right.
And here is Mark David Smith on Only Visiting This Planet.
All right, that'll be our new intro.
Yeah, right. It's almost, yeah.
Okay. Well, so what's really hard here is that I've got Lamb Radio up. I've got here. As a matter of fact, I'll just let y'all see. Here is. See, this is the wonderful thing about watching Only Visiting This Planet is that's actually Lamb Radio over there. That is my computer, and this is YouTube. So you're actually you can kind of, if we can stand back, so you can see. I'm looking at all three all at once, and those two are pretty close. See, you can see they're pretty close, but YouTube is way behind. So I'm going to find that there's no way I'm going to be able to do the show watching YouTube because it's behind, and I can't handle behind. Hey, you like the top of my head? It's not there. Okay, so I'm back to halfway normal here, and I gotta put the camera. Hello, everybody. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you what's a little bit crazy. By the way, everybody, I would see we have 4 on YouTube and 6 over on the viewers on Lamb Radio. Our numbers are just unbelievable down, and I don't get. I don't, since the coat, I don't know what's up with all of that, but
People are getting back into the routine.
oh, well, they were supposed to do that last week, Sandy.
Well, you know what? It's sluggish. So, they'll get there. They're coming back. They'll get it.
Okay, well, I think the whole messianic lifestyle is sluggish.
Well, that's a whole show right there.
So what's our topic? Where are we going this week?
I thought.
See, there
I
you
don't
go.
know.
That's our whole show this week. Is where are we going with this? When we ended off, what was it, about a month ago? I think it was, maybe even longer. I'm thinking people don't think we're even back up, and I think that's what the problem is that people think because we've been down so long that maybe we've canceled the show or whatever the deal is. Oh, I'm over here, aren't I?
But I'll look at the side of your face. That's fine.
Oh, really?
No,
No, I may switch. Yeah, here we go. We'll just put this over here. Is that better for you? Because I don't want to look over there. And if this is, or now you get to see everything in the back. I did a show with Paul Neeson, and he says, before we started the show, he says, nobody wants to look at your empty closet. I said, well, I just organized it the day before, so it's all right. I don't care what you see in my house. But like James and Abigail, they put up a curtain back there. And so I think that's what we're going to plan on doing, is putting up some kind of curtain, because apparently it's not professional that everybody sees into your closet.
Well, everybody gets to see into my living room, and look at my black cat walking by.
I thought
she's not a raccoon.
How many cats do you have, and how many raccoons do you have? Because when we were talking yesterday, you actually had a raccoon in there too.
That is not true. Okay.
You did. Okay. I saw it.
Well, it's Simba, and that's the cat that you saw yesterday is Jonathan's cat that he rescued, and then he left here like everybody does. That cat that you just saw, one of our young adults, said she would always have us babysit her kitten, and it was that cat. And then when she got married, her husband didn't like it, and she said, well, we're gonna put her to sleep, or you can take her. Well, I'm not gonna have her put to sleep, so got that one. So we have 2 cats. And then of course Jonathan had a dog, and he couldn't have the dog, so we've got Jonathan's dog, and then we've got John's dog. So only one of the 4 animals is the one we chose. All the others are rescues, so to speak. 2 from Jonathan and 1 from one of our other, we call them kids, one of our other young adults. So yeah, we got, but none are raccoons, Mark. Simba is a yellow cat, or orange, whichever way you want to go. He's not a raccoon. And you may hear him roar in a minute. Who knows? But she is usually not in the room when we do the show.
Okay, well, how do you know the cat doesn't secretly want to be a raccoon, and I just perceive that?
You know, you could be correct.
I could be.
You could be correct. He is the cat that we've talked about, the other one that you haven't seen today on YouTube Live. But he is the cat that was the prodigal cat that left for a month without claws, and we did that whole story of getting him back in. And anyway, he could have been hanging out with raccoons that whole time and learned how it works. So maybe he is secretly a raccoon. I don't know.
So what do you think of this? What do you think of this video stuff where we get to actually sit and look at each other? Problem is, you guys, listen, I can see everybody's typing into the to the text over here on YouTube, but I get so distracted that I can't, if I do that, I can't listen to everything else that's going on. But so Sandy, how do you like this, being able to see each other? And it's a little bit of a lag, everybody. So you're actually getting 16-second delay.
Okay. Use your phone. John has got you playing in the background, and he's being distracting, and he's looking around the corner like he's a stalker. If you're going to do that, you might as well say hi to everybody.
Come on in, John.
He wants you to come on in since you're stalking the show.
You're amongst friends here.
Mr. Craig, you're live. You might as well come show your face now. I don't know what he's doing.
That's all right. He's shot.
He's coming.
There he is. There he is. Yay.
Yay.
It's John Craig, everybody.
Well, you know, the YouTube is lagging a little bit, so we're talking about a hairy ape in our house. So I showed up.
What?
We're talking about the raccoon and all that sort of stuff.
How does a raccoon have anything to do with a hairy ape?
The animals in our house.
Are you one of them?
I don't know. When you say hairy,
let's let the YouTube Live answer that question.
What? Okay.
Is this the hairy ape you're talking about here?
That's right.
And his long flowing hair.
Adina doesn't like for me to put my hair over like this. She says, honey, that's what women do, is put their hair over here. So if I wear it
over my head.
Oh, hey, you know, it is actually long enough. I could have bangs.
Oh, don't do that.
You guys have heard of comb overs, right?
Yeah.
This is the ultimate comb over. So if you come on here and you say, wow, Mark has grown a bunch of hair, it's actually implants. So
implants, yeah.
Just a little glue, Mark, and it'll work.
Glue?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
I have nothing to say about that.
Well, no, you could actually really do a comb over and let the side of your hair grow out, and then just comb it over and then cut underneath it, and nobody would ever know.
Oh yeah,
of
no
course
one.
not.
No,
especially in the winds of the Panhandle of Texas.
I love it. I love it.
Can't do that on radio. You have to do that on YouTube Live.
Well, I have to say this, because we are broadcasting from our living room. I don't know if we need to get a curtain or not, but you're going to see all sorts of things from our house, from our cats, and of course him.
Well, let's do a survey here, and we're going to ask everybody in the chat, should Sandy and I both get a curtain behind us, or just me, or just Sandy, or both of us? What do you guys think in the chat room there? We'll do a survey. See, I think possibly you guys are not so bad, because it's kind of wide open behind you. You don't have a lot of stuff, whereas mine's just things. See, I don't have a door on that closet back there, but I could put a curtain on that where it's supposed to be a door. You see my recliner there, because that's my recliner, man. That's where I sit in here and watch movies while Adina is doing her stuff out in the living room. And so anyway, but all right, so no, Joe says nah, keep it real. Marilyn says let it be real. She agrees with Joe. So we'll figure it out. Well, let's see.
What's that? My YouTube, the text on my YouTube isn't working. So I don't see anybody's response. No, it's stuck.
It's stuck. Well,
Yep.
Do a refresh in your browser, and that's what I do for me. I will say, probably today I'm calling our internet provider and bumping up our bandwidth 100 gigs or 100 megs or whatever it is. And so, what?
You can do that?
I can do that. Yeah, I can actually.
We can do that. That's why I was giving John the look.
Yes, we have DSL.
Oh.
They don't have the capability unless we went to cable.
You can't beef it up?
No.
Yeah, we're in our middle tier. They have the low one we started with, and then they gave us a special deal. We went to the middle, and now they're offering a special deal to jump up to like their highest deal. And because like you saw in the what I showed you, I have 3 computers here showing me 3 different things in the bandwidth. I need the bandwidth to be able to produce to make Lamb Radio jump to the next level. You know, I guess I have to bump it up.
We should bump it up. Bump it up. Yeah, we can make a little rhythm out of that. Why are you looking at me like that? I'm with Aunt Mariah all day long. So many days a week that I make up songs for everything. Mm. Yes.
Mariah who?
Aunt Mariah, my granddaughter.
Oh, Aunt Mariah.
She's the one that smiles every time I walk in the room.
Oh, I see.
You should see what she does while he's preaching. Because we sort of let her, we have this big carpeted area in the sanctuary, and anyway, he doesn't do it on stage. He does it in the front. And she sort of gets free roaming reign, and she crawls over to him and she pulls up on his pants and just stares up at him, and he ignores her. And she does it over and over because she wants him to pick her up while he's talking.
I want to pick her up, but I'll chase a rabbit trail and then I'm done.
You chase rabbits when you preach?
A few. Some say they're squirrels, but
I know.
We don't have too many squirrels in our part of the country.
Sometimes
we got lots of rabbits.
No, that's true. We do have squirrels, just not. Anyway, that all of a sudden you'll hear somebody. You haven't heard this in a long time, but somebody from the congregation says "squirrel," and we know that Pastor John has left the trail. Squirrel.
Well, I just want you to know I have a Ruger for that.
I know what you're saying, but that's horrible. What are you looking at me for?
We're having fun here.
Okay. If you say
See,
so.
my fun
Did
is
you
just
see
to
that
sit
look?
here and be quiet and let you guys go.
See, is this what it's going to be like when we're on? Everybody gets to
I
see
don't know.
what we really.
We're gonna just have to have a party some night. Just get everybody together for a couple hours, a whole bunch of us different producers on Lamb, and let some of the people that are our listeners, like Joe and Tova and Marilyn and James and Abigail and all those guys. We'll just have to get together, make sure everybody's got their cameras and have fun with it. Don't have any kind of agenda, but just sit around and have fun with it. That would be fun. So, but this is fun. I love this, being able to sit here and do this. Though I have to say, I get very easily distracted. But the video kind of distracts me, and the chat distracts me. So it's gonna be hard to. I gotta have an outline today. Everybody, Sandy and I decided that. We're both so saturated with different things. We didn't really come up with an outline. We didn't come up with a skit. We didn't come up with anything specifically to talk about. So I guess we're going to talk about raccoons first. And since Sandy brought her raccoon, John with her, we could while we have John with us, I'd like to hear about Chandler Sakote, since I wasn't there this past year. Give us a little rundown on how it went, and I want to hear about War Room, and I guess it was fine since I wasn't there, because I'm rarely actually in the morning prayers there at Chandler anyway, but I sure miss seeing everybody.
You do show up in the morning barely awake, with your socks and your sandals.
Yeah.
And so we did always see you.
Wait, socks and sandals, what's that have to do with anything? I don't understand why you mentioned that. That's normal everyday wear. Why didn't you mention the jeans I was wearing, or the shirt, or the coat, or anything else I was wearing? You only mentioned the socks and sandals. What does that have to do with anything?
That just stands out to me. And sometimes you're in sweats, sometimes you're in shorts. Who knows? But you're always just barely awake.
Yeah, I'm always awake.
Did I say barely?
I'm always barely awake, but
but I will say the War Room was amazing. Actually, I was alone for most of the week doing prayers by myself, because Mr. Craig was here taking care of things with Jonathan and Mr. Craig. Anyway, which was okay. But what was really awesome, y'all don't know this, but when I'm talking and I get excited, I like move around a lot. And so during prayer, I was able to do that. I went out close to where everybody was, and we had a lot of people just bring in, they would come in for prayer. And I love that. So not only were we praying for prayer needs, but we were praying for people right there on the spot. And I was just a really anointed time every morning, and some really new faces. Tom and Retta weren't there, so that left a big hole in that. I expected them to be there on the front row, and he's such a prayer warrior himself, but it was still really good. We got to meet a lot of Nebraska people this year, which I hate to say this, but okay, that sounds bad too. But I'm a Texan, but I was born in Norfolk, Nebraska. I was. Got here at the age of 5, but when I go visit my family there, they say it's so dry and barren. And sure enough, I got to meet some Nebraska folks. Actually, even some people that I had contacted about speaking at their congregation before. So that was interesting. I got to put some faces and names together, and it was good. What did you think the couple days that you were there?
Oh, it was great. It was great. There was a whole different tone with the morning prayers.
I threw the whole book out the window and I said,
I mean, it just took.
We're having a prayer meeting.
It just went to the next level, is what I'd say. And the people that were there, I am just so excited to see how people are growing in their faith, and those that were prayers. I mean, they were jumping out there and praying. They felt more comfortable this year, and they were more.
There was lots of gathering and laying on of hands.
And there was lots of life. There was more of that. I don't know if that more of that. I don't like using the spirit filled, but it was more just spirit intensive, shall we say?
Well, we heard.
You set the tone, Sandy.
I did. I had one guy come in here and he goes, well, he said, and I heard somebody speaking in tongues, so I'm joining them. And I was like, he said, you let it happen. I said, yes, I did.
There was one gentleman from, well, he lives in Nebraska now, right?
I know, yeah.
And he went to Christ for the Nations where I went. And so he was like, wow, a fellow alum.
Oh, you didn't hear this. His big brother was in the Seventh-day Adventist Academy with mine.
That's wild.
That is wild. And that was what, back in the
day,
like 50s, early 60s. So wow.
We call it back in the day. That way you don't have to figure it out.
Well, it's just neat. The divine appointments are really cool, and he was pretty cool himself.
Like it.
Yeah, he was.
So you all got to meet. You got to meet Kennard and his family.
Yes.
We chauffeured he and his wife.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
On one or two trips.
Yeah, a couple trips.
When we were driving the golf cart.
Very good, very good. And Beryl, you got to meet Beryl, I guess.
Beryl was at our camp, and we actually asked her to come and move her tent over with the Life of Worship group, and she felt apprehensive about it because of her two little puppies, her little dogs. But she would join us a lot. And in fact, our last evening there, I was sort of in between two conversations, and John and Beryl, you guys talked for what, an hour and a half?
Yeah, for quite a while.
Yeah.
Neat lady.
She is a neat lady, a neat woman of faith. She gave a word for Jonathan, which was good. We actually got, and this was neat too, people were coming up with prophetic words and things during prayer, and words of knowledge, words of wisdom, and one day there were like 3 words that came forth for Jonathan, and I was writing them down as fast as I could and getting them to him, and he was so encouraged.
Really encouraged.
In fact, he says this, he did on his last letter. I haven't heard from him in about really pretty much a week and a half, but he said, Mom, please tell everybody from Lamb Radio if they have a word or anything for me, please either get them to me or send them to you to get them to me, because I want them. So, because he feels like this, he knows
this is his family.
This is his family.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Right. That's great. That's great. Yeah, especially since you find that people that you think are your family, when in times of extreme, you find that maybe they're not your family.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah, and we skipped a little bit, but you're right. During the intense times, you find out who really is family, and I know that's one thing that Dina Dye talked to us about. She said, what this is going to do is tell you who's real and who's not, and that goes from the big name, so-called named famous Hebrew roots teachers or preachers down to just the people that have been surrounding you. And it's so true. I mean, you really get to see people for who they really are.
Yes.
And that can be good and bad, actually. But Sukkot was, I will say this, that because I've worked so hard, I'm like you, Mark. You know that I work the whole Sukkot, and this Sukkot this year, I stepped down from the kids because of everything that's been going on in our lives, and I long to be with the kids. But I worked 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. nonstop, and I didn't really get to have a breath the last 2 Sukkots. This year, I loved it because I worked, but I also was able to enjoy people. So
Very
I loved
cool.
it. Was good. It was
Very,
good.
very, very cool. And I want to hear more, but let me interject right here. We have been talking, and of course, this is a year away, or as you saw I hope you saw in our last update video that Susan and I did. It's about, what is it, 350 days now until Sukkot next year. We have briefly talked to Donato about their Sukkot that they've been having for the past couple of years, and next year they're moving it to their land, which they have like just 42 acres of land, and they have a huge place that they can do Sukkot. Of course, there's some logistics to work out, but we are very, very, very serious about incorporating their Sukkot with a lamb Sukkot. And so you might keep it open in what you're going to do next year for Sukkot, because I think this would be pretty awesome if we were to get a lot of the lamb people together with a lot of the listeners in that area who listen to lamb. These are great people that put this Sukkot on, and that would be great to kind of morph the two together and do a lamb Sukkot next year. So we'll see. Might keep it in mind. Bye, John. Bye.
Oh, I think he said he'd be back. I think.
Oh,
I think.
okay.
I don't know. But he may be gone. Who knows? I never know.
Well, like I say, keep it open, and I know that there's possibly that you have expressed that maybe next year you guys might want to do something different for Sukkot.
Yep, we did say that, and the bottom line is we want to be led by Yah.
Sure.
And do, it's really hard. It's hard to figure it out because we have a whole congregation that follows us.
Right.
So
I'm with you. I totally understand.
Turn that off, John, so that we are not using up anything.
I'm on LTE.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. All right,
Yeah,
that was just a private conversation.
That's all right.
I had YouTube Live on my phone, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't using any of our bandwidth. And I went to.
No, I understand. I get it. I understand. No, I understand. And this is the first time we have not done Sukkot in Chandler, and I think we did. It was, I want to say 17 or 18 years, and Adina said the 16 or 17 years, but when we figure it up, it comes out different. But the first time in a long time, so you feel, and I see the difference. I mean, you have people from your congregation that follow you up there and want to be a part, and you're not that far away from Amarillo, and yet, we're 2 days from our daughter and our grandchildren and everything like that, and that's what we want to be there. It just didn't work for us this year, and I kind of doubt that we'll go back to Chandler, even though both of our family are right there around Chandler and Oklahoma City and that type of thing. Your priorities kind of change, and what you need to do so changes.
Well, we did tell our congregation that that this would possibly be our last year, but we just honestly we just have to pray. you know, there are things
I get it.
we both of us had a tough summer, and coming out of that,
Yeah.
emotional and you're raw, and
Right.
so now that, you know, we're still trusting y'all and everything, we want to trust him on that too, because we want to be exactly where we're supposed to be.
I'm with you.
And that, I don't know what John's doing, but he is distracting me like you wouldn't believe. I need to ask this question. Why do you need your phone on to watch yourself when you're watching yourself right here on the screen?
No, I'm not watching me. I'm looking at the chat room and YouTube Live.
Oh.
Because it's frozen on that screen.
It's frozen on my screen, and if I don't know that I'll be able to correct that this show.
Yeah, no, and no Mark bobbleheads. Not going to happen.
So, is there any interesting conversation in the chat room?
Well, I would just say if there was a Mark bobblehead, that the tail would bounce.
So it's like that's it. It's not a bobblehead. It's a
bobtail.
Bobby. No, bobtail. Yeah, okay, whatever. That could happen, I guess. Anyway, we're good with it. Okay, so
I just slapped John's hand, by the way.
What's that?
I just slapped John's hand. He's interrupting me.
Okay, what else about Chandler Sukkot it was special this year?
Well,
the weather was wonderful.
Oh yeah, the weather was great.
You know, we never know what Sukkot will bring, and it was, well, at least for the days I was there, just wonderful.
It was good.
Nights were comfortable, and the days were not hot.
I loved working security. I was driving the shuttle for security, and my favorite day was driving it when it did rain. I love to be out there in the rain. Everybody's like, "You're getting wet." I'm like, "It's fun." People don't melt when they get wet. At least I don't.
Let's hope they don't. We're gonna have to rethink our entire faith if people actually do melt when it rains. Well, you know, I mean, I'm not going there.
Well, I liked it. And here's one thing that was different, is the food was different this year. You know how they usually do the same menu every year?
Uh-huh.
It was completely different.
Well, Mark Chitty wasn't there from what I found out. So anyway, I don't know what that has to do with it, except he usually cooks everything. So interesting. Okay, well, that's cool. You know, I don't know who is listening, or, you know, if you guys have read my article called Post Sukkot Blues, but it speaks of everything that we've been talking about, mostly that I look forward to seeing those friends that I only see once a year. And this year, the first time in, I think we did 17 Sukkots there in Chandler in a row with people that we know, and a lot of them we only get to see once a year at Sukkot. And this year's first time, after doing them 17 years in a row, we didn't get to see those people. And that in itself, there's a lot to that. Of course, we kept real busy this year during Sukkot, but the one main thing that Adina and I missed was our camping area, the campfire area, where we get to see a lot of people and have fun with people, joke around and do all kinds of stuff. Once again, in the last update video, Sarah had sent me a video when Rico came through, like he does every year on that the free night. And so you kind of got to see a little bit of what our normal Sukkot was like right there at Chandler, and we miss that so much. And we do look forward to the Moedim as though it was a friend that we don't get to see but once a year. And if you haven't read the article that I wrote, if you don't mind going back to the update and reading that, I think you'll get it. You'll see. You're bobbing your head, Sandy. I'm assuming you guys get to read it. I know you've been busy since you've been back.
I got to read it, but what I really thought was interesting was the video update on the past of what you looked like in the past. That's where my mind keeps going. All of a sudden, I see all these pictures of Mark, and then I saw something. I guess at one point in your life, you look like Brad Pitt. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Wow. I don't. Susan responded to that too. I didn't see a picture of Brad Pitt in there. Those were all pictures of me.
Oh, okay. Okay. Very good.
Yeah, what you guys have to put up with just to have me around. I know that's what going.
I understand the blues, though. We even this week we've been saying, "Oh, I wish we were back at Sukkot."
I did not want to leave, but you know, as people started leaving, that did make me sad. I wish everybody would still be there.
Yes.
Yeah, and we were really blessed too this year too, because you know, Deanna and Eddie are really, really good friends of ours, and so we get to hang out with them. And Eddie always comes over to the Life of Worship camp because we stay on the opposite side of everybody else. We stay in Camp A.
We were told this year that that's the leper colony.
Yeah, we stay in the leper colony.
Outside the camp.
Are we really though? It's an extension. It's across the lake. But it is beautiful. It's a hidden secret.
Yeah,
nobody knows that.
It is.
That's right.
We had some people come over that had not been there before, and they were like, wow, this is beautiful. Yeah. And it is. That's one of the things we love. But he always comes over and he eats and tells stories. And this year he brought a game. And he got out of his car and he said, I have this game and we're going to play it. And I know, and I'm really good at it. And I always win. And I said, that's what you think. I said, we'll see what happens. And sure enough, we got to playing. And
what was the game?
It was Rubik's Cube. Rubik's Cube. It was something like that.
Rubik's Cube?
Yeah, it was little tiles.
No. Rubik.
It was something like that. You weren't there.
I wasn't there.
But out of the 4 games we played, Eddie won 1. I won 1, almost 2. And the lady who won 2, it was whoever had the round would have won. But I messed up. I was holding a good card and left a good tile, and I wasn't thinking straight, or I would have won 2. I get a little competitive.
So in other words, Eddie said he always wins, but he didn't.
Well, with Dr. Scotty, he beat Dr. Scotty.
Oh.
He was there playing a whole bunch of that with that Dr. Scotty, and he always won.
That's sad.
Okay, now my mind just went back to when Jonathan was 5.
Figured it would.
Okay, I've told this story. I'm going to tell it again. Jonathan's 5 years old, and we're playing. Jonathan and John are playing a game, and he says, "You know what?" I said, "John, be gentle on Jonathan. He's 5." And he says, "It's time he grows up now. He needs to learn what it's like to be beat." I was like,
wow.
He's 5.
Yeah. Okay.
I was just a couple of years older in my emotional level, so.
I'm going to have to see the responses on that one.
I have noticed that you have matured at least a couple of years, John. So
thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
I feel my esteem rising a couple points.
Well, let's jump over to Jonathan. How's he doing? Give us an update. Let us know what's up with Jonathan, and be sure to say hi from all of us.
We actually don't know.
You don't know? You haven't heard from him for a couple.
Well, they transferred him to Middleton Transfer Facility last Tuesday. A week plus ago, Tuesday. when we were still at Sukkot, and at 12:30 a.m. He was believing he had heard that we would get to talk with him on the phone. We set everything up so he had money in his commissary so that we could talk to him on the phone. And they also have emails, JPay, where you can email him letters. I'm sending him physical letters, but you can go to jpay.com and look up his name, Jonathan Craig, or I can give you the number. His number is, everybody get your pen out if you want to write him. It's 022-19815. If you want to send a letter to him or look anything up or add money to his accounts, whatever it is, 022-19815. That number's got to be there. But everything that the inmates have told him, other ones, are obviously not true. We finally got a letter on Shabbat, and it said, hey, I've been crying a lot. He said, I've heard it could be up to 3 weeks before I have contact. The prison goes under lockdown 2 times a year, and it happens to be under lockdown this week when I arrived. And he said that means very little food, even less than usual, and you're locked in your place, no contact, no nothing. And it was very brief. He said how much he loved us and how much he wished he could be back with you guys, even here on Lamb Radio. And he's keeping, strong in the faith, but it's very emotional. He did say that there was a young man that he found that he is however they have him in the room with, that is a believer, and that Jonathan's been holding prayer every evening. I mean, it was just a brief letter. He said, I only have 1 stamp and 1 piece of paper left, so I can't contact you. And so the lockdown was supposed to last 1 week. Well, the week, if it began when he got there, it should be done. But we haven't heard anything, except I will say this: Jonathan has been, when he was here at Randall County, the work he was doing, the opportunities he had to minister in that mission field were great, and you can see fruit of that. But Jonathan loves family, and he needs family. So right now we need to be praying for strength and encouragement. Also, we need to remember they have him down as maximum security. He is going to be tested, or he may be being tested right now, and that could change. And we need to pray that it does change. Maximum security. You can guess what kind of people you're with. And it also destroys any opportunity he has for work release. And also, when you're categorized as that, it limits everything you're allowed to do, because you're viewed as the worst of the worst of the worst. And his heart is breaking, and he needs us praying. He needs to hear from you. I wish I could post the address. Maybe I'll send it. I don't know. What should I do? How can people get the address? I'm talking to myself now. You can always look it up, Middleton Transfer Facility, Abilene, Texas, and it'll tell you what the specific address is. If you go get that letter, I can tell people. But we need to be praying for him. If you could write him, and we need to be standing that Yah will do a miracle release for him. There's something else that happened over Sukkot, and we discovered some wrong information that was, again, our lawyer didn't take care of, and it probably would have changed a lot. And we've got to go approach him and say, hey, why is this like this? It's completely incorrect information, and it should have, you'd think the lawyer would have taken care of it, but he didn't. Anyway, here's his address. Jonathan Craig, number 022-19815, Middleton Transfer Facility, and it's 13055 Farm to Market Road, 3522. I'll read that again. 13055 Farm to Market Road, 3522, Abilene, Texas, 79601. 79601. But I know this isn't what the show's about, but it's been a big thing.
No, it's okay. It's okay. This is what we want to do. This is what we're doing this week. So.
Well, he loves this family, and I even wrote him in the last letter, said, I wish there was some way. I said, I don't know that they've filled your spot yet. I want you to do your spot. I want you to be able to do it. And anyway, he he's in a hard place, but he is doing the very best he can. The last I heard. Again, I don't know anything about this place he's in now. I know nothing. I do know we need to pray for his protection as well. And I hope if he would call during the show, you better believe it, I'm going to answer. But we have not heard from him, and so we know nothing that's going on in this new place. So
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, that's good. That's a good update. I feel for you. I really do. And it's hard for most of us to relate and know what you're going through. So we just do what we can in our prayers and in our thoughts, all those type of things. Of course, I am a huge movie freak, and I've seen a lot of movies about prisons and jails and stuff like that. So you can't help but have those thoughts go through your head, and you sometimes you think, well, that's not real. That's not what it really is there, and that's a distortion. But if no matter what it is, it still gives, for instance, like me, it gives me a perspective in which to pray and to think about it, and know that if you pray over the worst case scenario, you're covering all the scenarios. So
Yes.
That's the way I look at it.
One of the things that he feared the most when he knew that it was a possibility he would be transferred is that he had to stand naked for 6 hours. And we encouraged him. We said that Yeshua, his Messiah, was naked when he went to the stake, when he went to the cross. And he got some encouraging. I mean, because that's horrible. That's just shameful, and that's just unnecessary. But that's what they do. You stand naked there.
It's to humiliate you.
To humiliate you.
Break it down.
And we said, just go to another place. Just speak the word. Just go to another place. And somebody gave a word they were talking about Corrie ten Boom and her sister had to be naked before the Nazis in Germany, wherever they were at, and that they were able to do that, and the guards didn't even see them. And that same thing with him. We were praying that mantle would be covering him, and that there would be no shame. But, Jonathan's facing stuff that he shouldn't be facing because we're pastors. But there's no mistake. It's not a surprise to Yah, but he's walking it out. We can't imagine or fathom what he's going through, but we can stand with him, and we can pray for him.
That's right.
We can pray that God's miracle power releases him quickly.
Well, here, let me clarify on, so you said one thing about his spot, and we're talking about the war room. They're actually, at first this week, for the first time in almost 6 years, we've been doing war room prayers. For the first time, we've actually been down 4 people. It's rarely ever more than 1 or 2. Sometimes we've lost, like, for instance, we lost Emmanuel and Chrissy one time. We lost the McDonald's, from their prayer spot. It's usually a husband and wife. If we lose 2 people that can't do prayers anymore, and it's always that they don't want to do it. It's not that they don't want to do it. It's because they have other obligations they have to go through. And it's the same thing when we lose almost every single war room warrior we've ever lost in our prayers. And it's just other priorities of things that happen. And it's what's going on with Jonathan right now. For instance, I put out massive emails to a lot of people I haven't even talked to in a long time, sent out emails to people asking for people to come in and pray, prayer warriors. It's not so much of a replacement, and I didn't use the word replacement. It has to do with we need these warriors. For instance, and I'll give you a good example that actually works with Jonathan. in the same way. Sherry Flanagan will be starting doing Friday War Room prayers at I think it's the end of November, sometime maybe the 30th or 20th. She will be doing Friday War Room prayers. But in the meantime, if we get somebody else, we need to be able to tell them that it's only temporary until Sherry starts at the end of November, and then we can use you as an alternative or however that works. It's the same thing with Jonathan. If we get somebody that can do Tuesday, we'll let them know what the situation is, and if Jonathan can fill that again, then he has priority over that. The same as Sherry has priority over Friday. So,
Mark, that will lift his spirit like you can't believe. I will let him know that.
Okay, sure.
That will make him. I can tell you that will make him soar. He will love to hear that.
Well, I have.
Right. Oh no.
I have always, from even before the day of the that he met with the judge, I have always in my consciousness thought, well, if he does have to go, it's just temporary.
That's right.
That's all that I can go to. So hey, there you go. We'll leave it at that and go from there. So, but it's huge. We do need prayer warriors right now. We're juggling a lot around, and this is the first time in 6 years that we've had this situation. But the Lord always provides. It always provides. Maybe what we need to have is a bobble beard. I'm noticing that my beard kind of bobble a little bit. Whatever. So have a Mark bobble beard there, and maybe the ponytail will bobble with the beard.
Well,
whatever.
On my back glass in my car.
Yeah.
What?
A Mark bobblehead with the beard and the hair.
Yeah, there you go.
Scared?
I don't. It might be a danger to the road. They're like, what is that?
I love it. I love it. Now, see, actually, Tova is listening, and Tova is the type of person that would actually come up with something. She would find somebody that makes bobbleheads and come up with that. So, no, Tova, no, don't.
What if they had a Mark and Sandy bobblehead, 2 each, and we just.
There we go. That would work.
Yeah.
Only visiting this car is what it would say on the bottom. Only visiting this car. So,
Yeah.
I love it. All right.
I want to hear something cool that happened during the days of Sukkot for you.
For me?
Yeah.
Well, actually, this was really, really good because that we stayed home during Sukkot. We didn't eat. Even our local tour group, which is not really local because it's an hour and 10 minutes for us to drive one way to meet with anybody of our like-minded faith. They actually had a couple of different meetings at somebody's house during the 8 days of Sukkot, and we never even made it down there for that. We stayed here. We enjoyed each other's company. Dina has been studying for her real estate exam, and she needed to get that done. So we turned our Sukkot into getting things accomplished that we can't do otherwise. So we use that time, especially since I work a good 8 hours a day for Lamb Radio when it's going in its normal routine, by putting music on 24/7 during that 24/7/8, I guess you could say. Well, actually, it went for 2 weeks, so 24/7/14. then that allowed me to concentrate on two things. First of all, so that everybody understands what's going on with Lamb Radio. At the very beginning of the show, I mentioned that our numbers are down. They are a fraction of what they have been. We're getting really good. We have more people on the YouTube channel right now than we do listening to Lamb Radio, and that's fine. I'm not concerned about that. That's great. I see that as expanding. What's happening, and when I went to Revive this about 2 or 3 months ago, there were several of us that have been in the Messianic lifestyle over 20 years. My family's been doing this over 20 years. Brad Scott's been doing it over 20 years. Eddie Chumney over 20 years. Mike Clayton, Dina Dye, Rico, all of us talked about this at Revive. The numbers of people in the Messianic lifestyle that, first of all, showing up for conferences, buying product, coming to the radio stations to listen, on and on and on, are plummeting. The numbers, every one of us notice that the numbers are way down. And in this past year, 2018, they have been plummeting. And there's lots of reason for this. We that talked about this, and Brad Scott actually even talked about it during his Saturday morning session at Revive to everybody, is that it has to do with the next generation. You stop and think about it. Every 20 years, there's a generation. So those of us in this past 20 years of the Messianic lifestyle, when it exploded, because it did explode in this last 20 years, and a lot of us had children in that 20 years. Like my daughter is, I think, 27, so, but she was like 23 when we started living the Messianic lifestyle. A great percentage of that generation is going a different direction than living the Messianic lifestyle. And so they're not buying the product or going to the conferences or listening to Messianic radio and that type of thing. And then the parents are sluggish. The people my age and, say 20s to 40s, 40s to 60s, I'm 64, 60s, and so are becoming very, very sluggish to the Messianic lifestyle. And in opposition to that, which is so crazy, is that because I own MessianicDirectory.com, and we get websites, Messianic websites submitted to us all the time, you would not believe how many Messianic online radio stations are popping up everywhere. It's unbelievable. And they're submitting them to Messianic Directory. Like, you don't know that? It's fine. I don't. You go to Messianic Directory and look for broadcasts. You'll see there's a bunch of Messianic radio stations. Don't go there. Don't go listen. Yeah, but it's fine. You'll see what I'm saying is that there was even one right before Sukkot that submitted or that actually emailed me and wanted to advertise on Lamb Radio that they were doing Sukkot broadcasts during Sukkot. So they basically were saying, we would like your listeners on Lamb Radio to come over to our radio station during Sukkot so they can listen to our Sukkot broadcast. And I'm going,
What
No.
universe do you, are you from?
No, no, you're not broadcasting on my radio station. It's not going to happen. But so there's the gall of people. Anyway, so the deal. My point, what I'm trying to get to here is that what we've found and Abigail is probably listening. She'll attest to this because she's on the board. James and Abigail O'Hare, Susan Hoogie, my wife, and I on the board. We've discussed this, and because of the plummeting of the people coming into the Messianic lifestyle or even adhering to it, plus the Messianic radio stations that are starting up, we need to keep Lamb Radio on the cutting edge. We need to do what we can to make Lamb Radio beefed up. Like I was talking about our internet, we need to beef up. We're going to go to the next level, that kind of thing. We're going to the next level, trying to go to the next level. And what you're seeing right here is Lamb Radio on this next level. And that's the, not only the YouTube broadcast, but the video updates that we're doing. And that's what I worked on during Sukkot. Your being able to watch these broadcasts right now is because I spent a lot of time learning how to get this perfected. And also, you see the last video that Susan and I did, which I think turned out pretty good. I learned how to work that software, and it works really well. I mean, it's one of the best softwares I've ever learned, and easy enough, and there's just massive amounts of things that I can do with it. And that's our next level. So we're really hoping that now I need to learn how to market that, and if there's anybody out there that can market and can help me to market Lamb Radio, that's what I need, because that's not my profession. I'm not that versed in marketing and what to do and how to do it. So that was my Sukkot, was accomplishing a lot of things that I wouldn't have had the time to accomplish while all of you guys are doing your shows during the week. So that was my Sukkot, and it was good. It was very good. Adina and I get to spend our time together and our time with the Lord, and that was very good. So there you go.
Well, I love it that I understand how it is when you don't have time to take care of business, and sometimes to get that business done and have it off your back. Can you go take care of that real quick? We have fighting cats. Anyway.
Well, raccoons tend to fight a lot, especially they'll fight cats. So.
But I have to come into agreement with you on the conference thing, is that we've noticed for the conference, we've backed way off. We used to have one conference a month, and we've backed way off that because we would still have attendees, but people wouldn't give.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And even and sometimes we wouldn't have 120 or something. The numbers are down too, but then even those who are there are not giving. So we come down on, and now we do have Eddie Chumney coming to Amarillo on October 19th and 20th. But it's been several months since we've had a conference, and we've experienced the same thing that you and Rico and all them talked about here in Amarillo.
Mm-hmm.
In the Messianic movement, it's everywhere.
You spend a lot of money to put something together that has happened and been a success in the past, and so you expect that to keep going. You put a lot of money into it, and then you start seeing the people, not only do less people come, but the people that normally come don't give to support what you're doing.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
And for us, we really like to bless the speakers, because I've gone to places and been the speaker or the worship leader before, and I've got nothing. I've gotten, or just some little tip, and you spend the money to travel to put the equipment in to get your hotel, and they give you nothing or $50, and that's just not right. And so we always try to bless the speakers that come. So, but it also costs money for the facility. Even though we rent the facility, we have it. You still have the cost of heating, the cost of air, the cost of the meals, the cost of the hotel room for the, and people don't even, not to mention giving, and so. It's just an issue. People need to. I always like what Dave Matthews talks about. You come sup at the table, or Mike Clayton. I don't remember which one. Yeah, if you have dinner, you pay the bill.
Yeah, I know that was real good. We've mentioned that several times too. I'm with you. Okay, well, I hope everybody enjoyed the show. It's a little different. We just kind of sit down, had fun with it. So glad John got to join in with us briefly. At least mostly got to look at his face, which is fine with me.
Wonderful radio face on YouTube.
Actually, when we're staring at the screen, we're staring at you, Mark, because we're in a little corner, so we're staring at you.
Well. Okay. All right. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. So I will work on. I've got to work on the update, and I'm going to start working on next week's show. And we'll start doing more of our usual type shows. And where maybe we'll do a couple skits here and there and guests and that type of thing. So let me work on this, and back next week. I have no idea. It just usually progresses as it progresses. So just stay up with Lamb. Always check the Lamb events column there on the lower left-hand side of the Lamb homepage, as that will kind of let you know every day when you come into Lamb. Just check that, see if there's anything special coming up. And since the YouTube update or MailChimp YouTube updates are only coming out every 2 weeks now, because Susan and I need to work on getting quality content out to everybody. Keep a watch on that. We're going to try to make it available so you can see what's coming up. I don't know if everybody or anybody caught the beginning of this last update. Wondering, John, did you catch, I don't know if you were a fan of this TV show, but at the beginning of the update, I did something that went along with the an old TV show. See if anybody in the chat room knew. I'm not getting any response, but 24 with Kiefer Sutherland was one of my very, very favorite shows. And at the beginning of the update, I added his little digital clock chink, chink, chink thing in there. And I had fun with that. That took an entire day to put together because I had to create my own clock. You can't get a clock online that will go into and be a software that you can incorporate it in there. So I had to literally create my own clock with the little pictures that came up and everything. But I'm working on more of that. I'm actually in the 3rd season of 24, rewatching them right now, and I'm getting a lot of really cool ideas and stuff to do. So watch the next update, because you're going to see even more of that kind of stuff. But if you watch the updates, you actually get to go inside Mark Smith's archives, inside the brain part there of his archives, and see what he really likes, because by having a video, I can actually put it into the video. So there you go. That's what you get with the archive, with the updates. So anyway.
Well, good updates, but I will say I understand how long it takes to do something with video software. And maybe you've never understood, but I'll say it took me one day, or it took me 8 hours to do this one thing.
Yeah.
Because it does. I'm
Yeah,
not a
it does.
professional.
Yeah. But it's fun. The results of it are worth the time. And that's what I did during Sukkot, was I learned how to do individual things that the next time I do it, it won't take me as long to do. And you save specific parts of it so that you can recreate it. So it won't take as long, but man, it'll probably be 6 months before I'm able just to pop them out, but anyway. So I hope everybody's enjoying the YouTube video updates. Always, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, please do. It's been great since Sukkot. We've doubled our subscriptions, and we're trying to get to 100 so we can get our own URL through YouTube and all that kind of stuff. So once again, Sandy, I think I'm done here. Anything else you want to add to that as I wash my hands of this whole thing? Sandy?
I keep sticking, so I'm unable. I'm not hearing what you're saying.
Okay, we need to beef up your internet.
Yes, talk to John.
Okie dokie. All right.
Started like 3 or 4 minutes ago, and now it keeps sticking, so I'm missing parts.
Yeah, it's all right. So we're gonna take us out. I'm gonna, as usual, I'm gonna let you say the prayer and be excellent to each other, and then we're out of here. We'll see y'all next week as we video in and video out.
All right, Father, we come before you and we give you praise and honor and glory. We thank you that you've given us this medium to proclaim your name, that all can not only hear, but they can see. And they can see within us, your people, even within our countenances, the joy of Yah. Thank you, Father, for giving Mark the opportunity and the time that he could learn this system, and even the vision to go on YouTube Live and to reach out not only on audio through the radio, but even through YouTube and other ways, that the audience is greater. And Father, I pray that you would wake people up, that we don't have to see diminishing numbers, but we should see growing numbers, Father. Help us to let the apathy, that spirit of apathy, be broken, Father, in the name of Yeshua. And wake us up and help us to realize that we need one another and we need to support one another. Father, I thank you for only visiting this planet. I thank you for the fun that we've had. I thank you for being the answer to everything. And as we go out for the rest of the week, Father, I pray that you just... that you use us, but you also, that our ears are open to hear you, that our relationship is even more intimate. Father, we give you glory, we give you honor, we give you praise, and we thank you in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. And in all things, we need to be excellent to each other.